Hi everybody, this is Katje. Tonight I would like to make the first in a series of videos where I share some recent additions I've made to my fall wardrobe, but I also would like to shift gears into a more practical direction and offer several tips about clothing size, that many cross-dressers might find interesting. A lot of you who are cross-dressers or transsexual or transgender people probably know a lot more about this than I do, but some of you out there may be beginners, you may be new to this, so I just wanted to offer some suggestions about that, and I want to discuss how to convert men's size in pants to dress size. I want to say something about shoe size and underwear, and at the end of the video I'll come back to this outfit I'm wearing tonight and say a little bit about that. But let's start with, how do you convert from men's sizes in, let's say, jeans or a pair of pants to women's sizes in dresses? So let me just offer a couple of tips here. Now, a lot of this information, in fact all of it, is readily available on the internet, but I thought it would be convenient just to gather it all here together so that you would have access to it. It would be very convenient. So a good rule of thumb to keep in mind when you're converting from men's sizes in pants, in the waist size, to women's sizes in dresses, is that you basically want to subtract 22 points from whatever your size is, the waist size is in the pants, in men's pants. So, for example, if your waist size when you wear male pants is like 30, then you want to subtract 22 from that, and that gives you a size 8 in women's dresses. Or if you have a 29 or a 28 size waist in men's pants, then you want to have respectively a size 7 or a size 6. Now that's when you're going from the waist size in men's pants to a dress size that's measured in numbers. As many of you know, some women's dresses are not categorized that way. It's simply going to be in terms of small, medium, large, and then there's petites. That's a whole other area that I don't really know that much about because I don't wear petite clothes, but I'm sure that there's information out there about it you could find on the internet. But when you're dealing with that, probably a good idea is to go up a size, depending on what you wear in men's clothing, whether it's small, medium, large. You probably want to go up one size in women's clothing. So if you wear, let's say, small in men's clothing, then you want to wear medium in women's clothing, like dress sizes or blouses or things like that. At least that has been my experience. Now, there are a couple of qualifications or caveats to that. As anyone who has spent some time shopping for women's clothing, or men's clothing also for that matter, but especially women's clothing, as anyone knows, different medium in one brand is not going to be the same as it is in another brand. The numbers tend to be more uniform, but sometimes a medium cut in, say, a Calvin Klein dress is going to be somewhat smaller than a medium cut in a Banana Republic dress or whatever. So sometimes there's no exact mapping there, there's no exact correspondence. The only way around that is to try different things. One thing that I found that's very helpful there is to find a particular store or outlet or brand that fits you very well, that you have experience with, and so you kind of know how their small, large, or medium correlates with your needs. So, for example, their medium size will be a really good fit for you, or their small size. My experience in this regard is with an outlet that I've mentioned before in some of my videos, and that's Forever 21. So my experience there is when I'm buying skirts, like mini skirts or dresses from Forever 21, usually their small sizes, if we're talking about small, medium, or large, their small sizes fit me fairly well. I can also usually go anywhere from like a 6 or maybe sometimes with a 4, depending on the dress. But usually when I'm wearing a dress, I look for a size 6 or a size 7. My experience has been in just about any brand, whether it's Calvin Klein or Forever 21 or Banana Republic or what have you, that I tend to, or Michael Kors or Kate Spade, I tend to have pretty good luck with either a size 6 or a size 7. So for example, this evening, the dress that I'm wearing is a size 6. Now, in this case, I want to relate a very brief anecdote. When I went to the store, I went to Dillard's to buy this dress just the other day, and so there was a size 8 there, and then there was a size 6. I couldn't find a size 7, so I was wondering, well, should I go with a size 6 or a size 7? And the salesperson was very helpful. The sales lady was very helpful because there was a woman walking by, and she said, well, look, this person seems more or less to be close to your size, so let's ask her what kind of dress size she wears. And it turned out that the woman wore a size 4. So to me, that was an indication that that would be too small for me, but I could probably get away with a size 6, that a size 7 would be a little too roomy for me. And sure enough, this dress I think fits me pretty well. It's not binding at the shoulders, it's comfortable around the waist and the torso, so this worked out pretty well. Now, another practical tip I would give, and I know this is a sensitive issue, some people may feel uncomfortable going into a store in their male persona and hunting or shopping for women's clothes. Some people don't mind, it doesn't matter, it depends on what you're comfortable with, but here's an experience that I've had. I don't really feel comfortable as a man going into a department store and saying, well, look, I'm looking for a dress for myself. But I will say, kind of, it's not really a lie, but it's just kind of a partial truth. I'll say, well, look, I'm shopping for a friend, and so maybe you could help me with that. And since I am friends with myself, I hope, that's not a complete fabrication. So that usually has worked for me. Of course, I can't try clothes on. The best way to make sure whether or not something fits, obviously, is to try it on. So if you're not comfortable with that, you have to fall back on some of the things that I'm suggesting this evening. But you can work around it, and the more experience you have, the easier it will get. And once again, another really good practice to develop is to find a particular store or a particular brand that fits you very well, and that will sort of give you a compass that you can use when you're shopping for various kinds of clothes. Now, the next thing I would like to talk about a little bit is shoe size and underwear. So let's talk about shoe size. Now, tonight I'm wearing these high heels. These are sort of like spiked high heels with strapped high heels. So my experience in this regard is that you basically want to add 1.5 to whatever your regular, 1.5 to whatever your regular shoe size is when you're dressing as a man. So I wear 8.5 men's shoes. That means that when I'm shopping for women's shoes, I do pretty well with a size 10. Certainly, I do that works well for me in high heels or in boots. That works quite well for me. Now, one exception that I have found to that rule is with flats. I have a pair of flats. I think they're baby flats that I've worn before in some of my videos, and I bought a size 10 there. It works, but they're a little loose. It probably would work better if it were like a size 9.5. That may just be that particular shoe. That also may be that particular style. I don't know yet. I need to do a little more experimenting with that. But again, as a general rule of thumb, I would suggest that you look at adding about 1.5 to whatever your size in men's shoes is, and that will give you the size of shoes or boots that you should be wearing when you're presenting as a female. Now, the issue with underwear is similar to that of dresses, but it's a little bit different. So when I'm wearing panties or underwear like that, I usually, what I try to do as a rule of thumb, with a qualification that I'll mention in a minute, is I usually go up one size from what I wear as a male. So if I wear like a small size in briefs, then I would tend to wear medium in women's panties, but there's an exception to that, and that is if you're going to tuck or do something like that, then you probably could get away with a smaller size in women's panties, women's underwear, undergarments there. You probably could do that because you want to make sure that once you've tucked, you have a snug pair of panties that will help to hold everything in and keep, that sort of basic, as flat as possible exterior appearance. So there, I guess my suggestion would be you need to experiment. You need to try different things, and there's some excellent tips about this from some other cross-dressers and transgender or transsexual people. Some of them are, there are links to them in my my channel, so you can see some of the people there. They will talk about that. And in the internet in general and on YouTube, you can find some really informative videos about that. Now, in terms of bras, obviously I don't have very much cleavage, and I don't really feel the need to. I feel that I'm a flat-chested girl, and I accept that. So when I do wear bras, and when I do that, I tend to wear very, basically athletic bras. Calvin Klein works very well for me. Sports bras, something like that, with an A cup or maybe a B cup. But certainly I don't have a lot of cleavage up here that I need to accentuate. Also, I don't wear any kind of artificial body molding or anything like that. That's just a personal preference of my own. Other people may want to do that, especially if they're trying to pass as a sort of, a female who's a busty or a full-chested girl. Then that would make sense to do that. And of course, some people who are transsexual or transgender elect to have breast augmentation surgery. That's a whole other subject that's very important that I don't really know very much about, but if you are interested in it, I would suggest that you consult some of the sources that are available on YouTube and in the internet about it. So when I wear bras, I tend to wear things that are fairly form-fitting and snug and athletic. That works for me. That makes me feel like a girl, but I'm not going to pretend like I have large breasts, because I don't, and I don't really need that. I don't really want that. That's my personal preference. So each person has to try out what works for her best. Now, finally, I think it's important. Another point I wanted to make before I conclude this evening is the importance of accessories. And what's really one of the really fun things about cross-dressing is finding dresses, finding shoes, finding clothes that enable you to express your feminine persona. That takes time and work, but that's what is enjoyable. If you find yourself getting stressed out about it, try to relax, be patient with yourself. You're going to make mistakes. You can always return clothes, or you can donate them. There are places that you can go that are not that expensive, so that if you find something that doesn't really work, you're not going to be out that much money, so you can either bring it back or you can donate it. But the point is to enjoy trying different things and finding your look, finding your style. So tonight I'm wearing this Calvin Klein dress that I mentioned earlier, and it is a size 6. It's very comfortable. This is a dress that works with a lot of different things. This is another thing to keep in mind, especially when you're beginning. I've found in my experience, it helps to purchase things that can go well with a lot of other things, and that probably is true throughout the entire experience of being a cross-dresser. So in the case of this dress works well with these strap heels, these stiletto heels, but I could also wear them with a pair of pumps or a more traditional set of high heels, like a set of black patent business high heels or something like that. I could wear them with my ankle boots, which many of you have seen in some of my other videos. I'm wearing pantyhose tonight in sort of a nude tone. But you could also wear black stockings with this, or leggings. You could wear knee-high stockings. You could wear tights. I have black tights that would go well with this. So this is an outfit that is very versatile, and it works well with a lot of different things. So you can get a lot of use and a lot of pleasure out of it. And that also helps you when you're experimenting with your look, and what combinations work well for you, and which ones would you tend to set aside. Now finally this evening, I want to talk a little bit about accessorizing. I think one thing that helps to pull an outfit together sometimes is making sure that you don't have too much jewelry, but also not too little. You want to find things that will sort of be like the seasoning in the entire ensemble that will help it pop. So for example, finding bracelets, like here I have these two black bracelets on that complement the gray of this dress with the black, almost like a houndstooth pattern in it. But that, and then also I have this, they're not pearls, but they're sort of like metallic, it's costume jewelry, but they're metallic pearls that also pick up the gray in the dress. And so when you have the right kinds of accessories, you can also add a purse. I didn't bring my purse out this evening, my Kate Spade purse, but that's also something that you can do to accentuate an outfit. All of those things, like I said, help the entire ensemble to pop. So that's what I wanted to talk about this evening. I'll model this dress for you just a little bit more. Tomorrow, or maybe in a few days, I will give another video where I show some of the other things that I purchased on my fall haul. But until then, this is Katje, thanking you for joining me. And if you have any comments, please feel free to leave them in the feed underneath this video. I appreciate everybody watching, and please like this video. If you don't like it, that's okay. Thank you for spending some time with me and being patient. But I hope everybody has a good evening. And until next time, this is Katje Eckhart, wishing everybody a good night.